If you've been watching my van conversion, then you'll know I've put an awful lot of time, money and energy into converting this small panel van into my dream camper. But if the worst happened and Yogi got stolen, I've no idea what I'd do. So in this video, I'm testing 4 different types of trackers from SafeTag, looking at why you might want a tracker, how to install them, how they stack up against each other, plus sharing anything else you might want to know when choosing a tracker for your own vehicle. So let's get started with the 4 different types of GPS trackers that SafeTag currently offers. The Mag, Mini, Plug and Volt. Each offers a different method of powering the tracker dependent on your requirements and usage, and they all come with a 12-month warranty too. The Mag is a large battery powered tracker, the Mini is smaller and also battery powered. The Plug is powered by the OBD port via the vehicle battery, and the Volt is hardwired onto the vehicle battery. If you're looking to find out info on one particular tracker, I've added time markers in the description below so you can skip ahead. These trackers are all complemented with a great phone app, but first let's take a deep dive into the finer details of each tracker. Up first is the Mag. As you may have guessed from its name, one of its core features is that it's magnetic, with its 8 very strong built-in magnets making it extremely versatile for putting it in all sorts of discrete places. It measures 3 by 8 by 4 centimeters, and within its rectangle case it contains a 6,800 mAh battery which lasts up to 90 days on standby, or about 16 to 32 days when in use. And it also incorporates a strung antenna that provides accuracy to approximately 5 meters. It has a bit of weight to it at 170 grams, but it feels solid, is nicely designed and water resistant to IP65. Externally it has a small screen with a red light indicating when it is charging or charged, and a blue light which appears for the first 3 minutes when the device is turned on. Also on the back there's a small button which is deliberately loose, as this helps the tracker detect vibrations. At the base there's a small waterproof cover which hides the SIM card, which is not to be removed as it's unique to that tracker, and a port to charge the tracker with a USB micro B cable which is slightly longer than usual, but the device comes with a charging cable, so no problem there. On the back is the item barcode, and the reason I'm covering up part of it on all the trackers I'll feature in this video is that the IMEI code is unique to the device, and I, understandably, don't want people to be able to track me because of this video. Using the SafeTag Mag really is as simple as activating the tracker on your SafeTag account, which I'll go into in a bit more detail later, waiting about 15 minutes for it to go live, and you're done. There's nothing more to do. The same can also be said about the Mini, which in many ways is similar to the Mag, but with the main difference being it's much smaller at 1.9 by 5.9 by 2.7 centimeters. With its smaller dimensions comes a smaller battery at 1500 mAh, which provides up to 30 days on standby or 2 to 6 days when in use, and it weighs just 96 grams. Its size has the benefit of being very easily concealable, so perfect for vehicles, but any other applications such as backpacking or travelling. Again, it's a plug and play device, but the only functional difference to the Mag is that you'll need to switch it on by sliding the cover back and flicking the switch on the left and then holding the button on the right until the light comes on. The SIM card for the GPS is located in here too, but as before can be left alone. Whilst there is an extra step to activating this tracker as opposed to the Mag, it's very handy to have the ability to turn it on and off as and when you need it. So they're the 2 chargeable trackers with built-in batteries, whilst the final 2 both rely on power from the vehicle battery. The first of these 2 is the Plug, which, yes, plugs into the OBD2 port of the vehicle. OBD stands for Onboard Diagnostics and is the location at which a mechanic would plug in a reader to review codes and diagnose problems, a pretty valuable tool for a vehicle to have. OBD ports have been around for quite a while, but the OBD2 system, which I'll be referring to, has been regularly built into vehicles since the 90s. It's a universal port, meaning that no additional adapters are needed. Using the OBD2 port for the tracker has a number of distinct benefits. Firstly, the majority of cars have them, so if you were switching from a personal to a work car, for example, then you can easily take it with you. Secondly, the OBD2 port is usually found inside the cab of the vehicle, meaning that it's easily accessible without faffing under the bonnet or the hood for my American viewers. It always has power running to it from the car's battery, so if the tracker's plugged in, then it will always be on. But don't think you'll be running your car battery down anytime soon. It draws such a low amount of power that SafeTag calculates that you'd need to not use your car for about 2 years for it to completely run an average car battery down. With a low profile of just 3 centimeters, it fits in snugly, and the cover goes back on so you won't even know it's there and tracking your vehicle. If you're not sure where to find the OBD port on your vehicle, then a quick Google of your car make and model should point you in the right direction. On my Nissan MB200, it's located below and to the right of the steering wheel. The fourth and final tracker is the SafeTag Volt. I try not to mess around under the bonnet of the van too much, as I'll be the first to admit I don't know what I'm doing. So at first, the thought of hardwiring a tracker directly to my battery was a bit daunting. Luckily, it couldn't be easier. Like the OBD port tracker, this tracker draws its power directly from the vehicle battery, so never needs to be removed and charged. The device can be used on a wide range of batteries from 12 to 90 volt and is fused and safety protected. Due to its potential for exposure to the elements, it's rated to IP67, which means it's waterproof and is accurate to approximately 10 meters. So this is how you install the SafeTag Volt to your vehicle battery. With the bonnet open, locate the battery and using a spanner or socket wrench, loosen the nut on the positive or red terminal of your battery. My battery used a 10mm socket, which I believe is a fairly standard size for car batteries. I should acknowledge at this point that yes, it's pretty filthy under here, and the terminals of my battery are well coated in grease to protect them. So it's a bit of a messier job than it would be on a newer vehicle, but it's nothing that can't be easily cleaned off afterwards. With the nut loosened, slide the metal U-shaped connector on the tracker's red wire between the gap made by the nut, and then tighten it up. Then do exactly the same thing for the other wire, loosening the nut, attaching the black wired connector to the negative terminal, and tightening it back up again. As the battery is live, you should see the three symbols on the tracker's small screen illuminate, and this shows that it is working. The left light shows an active battery connection, the middle shows a GSM connection, which stands for Global System for Mobile Communications, and the right side light shows an active GPS lock. All three lights will go out after approximately 3 minutes. Working with electrics and batteries always carries some risk, but car batteries at just 12 volts are very unlikely to shock you. That said, if you're unsure, always ask someone who knows what they're doing. Finally, stick the tracker down with the 3M tape provided so it can't move around or fall somewhere it shouldn't. I chose the top of the battery and had to give it a good clean first. Tie the cables up neatly and the tracker is installed. In theory, if you wanted to stick the tracker somewhere more discreet you could, thanks to the ample length of wire supplied, but bear in mind that you need to ensure it's installed with the logo facing up as the antenna faces this direction. Like the other trackers, leave it 15 minutes or so and it should start showing up as the tracking on the app. And speaking of the app, trackers are only good as the system that tracks them, so let's take a look into what SafeTag provides. There are two ways to view the location of your tracker, via the SafeTag website or their dedicated app available on iOS for iPad and iPhone, and also available on Android, all of which are free to download. To add your trackers, first head to safetagtracking.com and create an account, and once logged in, select Manage and Add Trackers from the main menu, and you can input your IMEI number as found on the back of your tracker next to the barcode. You can then give your tracker a name and select a coverage plan. Europe Basic covers 36 countries and regions in Western Europe, Europe Extended covers 52, Global Basic covers 127, and finally Global Extended covers 205 countries and regions. Full lists of countries covered by each plan can easily be viewed on the SafeTag website. You can then choose whether you want to pay monthly or annually, and a 7-day free trial will automatically be added to either option. After hitting the purchase subscription button, your tracker will be set up and ready to use. Under tracking in the main menu, click Live View and you'll be able to see exactly where your tracker or trackers are. Click History and you can choose the date to review what journeys were made using a particular tracker on a particular day. Here the journey is broken down into the time the tracker's moving, the length of the journey in distance, and the time stopped, so you can really get a clear picture of where the tracker has been and for how long. I'm still on the website version here, but you can do all this in the app versions, so all this data is easily accessible from your pocket, on the go, wherever you are. Assuming you've added your trackers through the website, heading into the app, the home screen is a map view of your tracker's locations. On the left, the top symbol opens the View Mode menu. From here you can view an individual tracker, or all of them, or return to the default mode. Below that, the backwards S symbol is a way to draw a temporary route as your tracker moves, and the bottom location button centers the map on the location of the device you're viewing the app from. Tapping the large red button will list your trackers, and you can immediately see their battery levels, the speed they're going, the signal strength, and also set up a geofence, which is a really interesting feature which will send you a notification if your tracker goes out of a predetermined area. Tap the cog symbol to change the tracker settings, tap the arrow to go to that tracker's current location, and tap the clock to view the tracker history. You can also view the history from the menu at the bottom of the app, as well as see alerts. All of mine are activation and battery alerts, which is another very handy feature, all from while I've been testing the various trackers. Finally, you can find more information under the settings button. The app is not only really simple to use, but also has all the features you could want when using a tracker. Plus, the SafeTag team have just released a new update bringing even more features, including kilometers per hour to miles per hour conversions, movement alerts, removal alerts for the plug and the Volt, overspeed alerts, and more. Having added all the trackers to my van and tested them, it's just possible that for this brief moment I had one of the most tracked vehicles in the country. So how much is all of this going to cost you? Well, once you've paid for the tracker, you'll need to buy an annual subscription, which varies depending on the tracker, so I've broken down the costs for the various location packages per tracker, and these were all correct at the time this video was released, but may of course change in the future. So which is the best tracker? Personally, I would go for the one which is most discreet, so perhaps the Mag or the Volt, but be sure to let me know in the comments which your favourite is. It goes without saying that trackers are incredibly useful tools for vehicle safety and other aspects, but they should only be used for legitimate purposes that respect people's privacy and privacy laws. For full disclosure, SafeTag kindly provided the trackers for me to test, but didn't sponsor this video, and all the opinions are my own. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, check out our adventures on Instagram at yogi.the.van, and thanks for watching.